All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Fully Booked Formula. Tonight we're going to be talking all about how to get fully booked, even if you have a small following. And as people were coming on, I had you guys go ahead and list if you are starting, have kind of some momentum, or if you're ready to scale it. So, first and foremost, we've got to talk about what are the problems? What are the things that are actually keeping you from being fully booked and scaling on social media? As you guys are about to hear, I've built my whole business on social media, but there were a lot of problems with it before I actually got started and was just trying to post without having any sort of plan. So, we're going to talk about that being a problem and other problems that happen when you are trying to get fully booked and scale on social media. Then, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the 3 steps to being fully booked and how you can start implementing them starting today. So, I know it's late. For me, it's 8 o'clock right now. If you guys are watching this now, we can say that you're going to be implementing starting tomorrow, but you're going to have ideas that you can really be thinking about to create and scale your business. The next piece is you're going to be talking all about how scaling systems can help you grow within the next year. For those of you that know, Stephanie, you're actually already in the program right now. There is a program that I have that is a 12-month mastermind where I talk all about how to get to 6 figures and beyond, all using social media. And then last but not least, we're going to do a Q&A. And I promise that I will stay on here until all questions are answered. I have water with me. I am ready to go. So if you want to ask any questions throughout this webinar, I would really appreciate it if you could go ahead and put it in the Q&A box. And then at the very end, I'm going to come on and I will answer all of your questions live. So I want this to be interactive, especially because this is late in the evening. I want to make sure that you guys have a chance to engage with me, and I want you to tell me where you're at. This webinar is designed for 4 people that I typically have in my audience, and it might be a mix of the 4. So there might be some of you that are rising earners, you're already full time, but you want to be charging and more particularly earning what you're worth. I know a lot of people, they have offers that are really high ticket, which is great, but you actually want to be making money, not just having an expensive offer, but you want to be profitable. So we'll talk about if you're a rising earner, this is how you get fully booked. If you are a future full timer, I was here when I first started my business, juggling my 9 to 5. I was teaching full time and I wanted to leave my job and go full time. Then there's the invisible creators. These are people who social media just feels like a struggle bus. Every time you see Instagram, it is either a doom scroll or a comparison trap, and you want to change that. You want to go from social media being a struggle to actually bringing in clients from the content you're creating. Then, last but not least, I know many people are stay-at-home startups. These are people who have just started their business and you really want a way to contribute to your family while having time to make memories with your loved ones. You don't want to feel like, okay, my kids are coming home from school and I still have to get these posts out. You want to be able to have it all. And that is exactly what this webinar is all about. So, if we haven't already met, hello, I am Megan and I was a former teacher. I built my business while I was teaching full time. This was back in the pandemic. And as I was building my business, I figured out first and foremost, I struggled a lot. And then I actually learned that there are very specific things that you need to do. Just like in my teaching job, I showed up to work, there were specific things I needed to do, and essentially created a lesson plan for coaching and for running a solopreneur business. And that's what I teach now. In the Scaling Systems Mastermind is the place that I do that. And within the past 5 years, I've actually made over $1 million, which is pretty crazy to see how the times have changed. So let's talk about a huge misconception that is actually creating a self-sabotaging cycle. You think that you don't have enough followers to be fully booked. This thought is showing up in every aspect of your business. And I'm going to talk about, regardless of whether you are a stay-at-home startup or you're trying to go full time, this is affecting your ability to be fully booked. So, For the rising earners, what I see happening is when you think that you don't have enough followers, you start creating a bunch of offers. I see this in my clients creating a new freebie every single week. I also see them starting different offers. So, like, okay, maybe I need to do a group program. Maybe I need to change the name of my offer. Maybe I need to change the length of time of my offer. Maybe I need to change the price of my offer. And you get caught in like it feels like you're throwing spaghetti at a wall when you're in this phase. And it's showing up because you're thinking, I don't have enough followers in order to be fully booked. So you're trying to convince and kind of in a way that isn't going to serve you for your audience that is smaller to fully book, to book their consults. And you're trying to really compel them, and it's showing up in a way that is really preventing your clients from actually wanting to work with you. So that's the first thing that happens is when you're thinking that you're not having enough followers to get fully booked, you start throwing spaghetti at a wall, you start putting out all these offers, and it leaves your audience confused instead of compelled to actually work with you. So that's the first piece. The second thing that happens is if you are in a full time position and you are not actually full time in your business, what happens is you are overworking. I see you trying to overcompensate, and this is no shade. I didn't think I had enough followers as well. But what happens is for those future full timers, you'll be overcompensating and overworking over the weekends and over trips and at night. And what happens, there's nothing wrong with working nights, but the real issue with that is if you think you've got a really small follower account, a lot of times what happens is you feel kind of embarrassed about your business. And when people ask you about it, when people are talking to you about your offer, instead of going to more networking events, you feel like you have more followers to get before you actually sign. So you end up not signing up for the networking events. You don't show up. And when people ask you about your business, you say, oh, yeah, it's doing fine, but you don't elaborate on it. And if you think about somebody who is confident, who is really wanting to show up strong in their business, you want to buy from people who are strong, who are confident, who are actually selling something that they believe in. And if you think that, oh, I don't have enough followers, I'm too small, I just started, I don't have enough experience yet, it keeps you playing small. It stops you from being fully booked in a way that you couldn't possibly imagine. So what happens is you quietly make offers. It might be in a post, it might not even be in a post. When people see you on social media, sometimes they even get you confused with being an influencer. They might say, "Oh, yeah, you're posting a lot of fun tips. That's very inspirational. Great." But what is happening, what's missing is they don't see you as an authority figure. They don't see you as a person who's ready to solve their problem. When a person complains, they don't think, "Oh, if you're a coach for moms and you're kind of like quietly posting, you're consistent, but you're thinking that your following is too small, that you don't have enough experience, what happens is then the people come and they are complaining, maybe your friends, maybe your acquaintances, former colleagues, current colleagues, and they'll hear somebody complaining. And let's say you're a coach for moms and they hear a mom, a friend of theirs complaining, you're never top of mind. People aren't thinking about you because you're too quiet. You're not confident and your offers are falling flat, not because they're not great, not because you're not an amazing coach, but because of your confidence and because of the thought error that you need more followers in order to be fully booked. You have to have that confidence ahead of time. The other thing that happens is the people who are the invisible creators. And I say this with so much love. This was me. I was chasing the algorithm, I was chasing reach. I heard that you have to post multiple times a day in order to go viral, in order to make a following. So, what I would do is I would do what I lovingly call the tornado and potato cycle. So, what I would do is I would go a week consistently posting, showing up on my stories, really getting out there, and then nobody would book. And I would feel awful and defeated, especially when I was teaching full time. I would be in my car making videos, making reels, and doing more posts, thinking I was going to make more money. And all it left me doing was burning out, becoming a potato, and having weeks where I was consistent, weeks where I wasn't consistent. And that is a huge problem, especially for the algorithm. So you really need to make sure that you create that consistency because, especially in the age of AI, if you're just chasing trends, what's going to happen is the algorithm is going to bypass you every single time. It's going to be focusing on the people who are consistent using AI. And even if you have really, really quality content, it's not going to show. The last piece here is people who are the stay-at-home startups. They might be working nights and weekends without getting any results. And this is so frustrating. I know I've talked with so many of my clients who are stay-at-home parents and they've tried to start up their business. They've heard that being a solopreneur could be a great way to have financial and time freedom. And so they want to contribute. They want to contribute to their family. So they might decide to start their business just based on skills that they have, or they go and get like a coaching certification. And so they spend their family's money, their precious money, kids' college funds, whatever it is. And then what happens is if you're thinking you need more followers to be fully booked, you might be buying certification after certification, getting all of these different programs under your belt, buying course after course. And what happens is you're putting all of this pressure on your business. You're putting money into your business, but you're not actually seeing results. So what happens is when you've got time to read to your kids at bedtime, all the things that are going through your head are, I need to post, I need to get this out there. Why don't I have a consult? I haven't had a consult in a full month. This is a huge problem. And when you're thinking about being fully booked, this is so preventable. My heart goes out to anyone that is feeling that. I've been there where every time that my partner would ask me, have you booked a consult yet? I would say, nope, haven't yet. But I would be spending all this money and it started to create a rift in our relationship. I was working nights and weekends and I wasn't seeing results. And I know how painful that can be. That was one of the hardest times in my business. And this is what I wish somebody had told me at that time, which is what I'm telling you now. If, even if, which is going to blow your minds, even if you have a large following, I've had people come in with 33,000 followers, 18,000 followers, 16,000 followers. It doesn't make you more money. The reason why all three of those coaches came to me is they hadn't made a single dollar in their business. They haven't made any money. And I know that might be shocking to you. You might be thinking to yourself, how could that possibly be if they have the audience, they've got the people there. And you might be thinking to yourself, if I just had that audience, I would be acting on it. But they were acting. They had posts. They were going viral. They had people that were coming in. They had even people that were messaging them. But the main issue is they didn't know what to do with them. Their posts and their messaging weren't converting. They didn't know how to have conversations and ask for what they needed, and they weren't closing people. So even though they had a huge following, not only were they not fully booked, they hadn't made a single sale. And that is one of the things that I just want to blow your mind for a second because it's so important to know that your follower count does not make or break the amount of money that you make. And even with a small audience, you can go from being a rising earner to a high earner. There are so many ways that if you fix this one thought error, I need more followers in order to be fully booked, what happens is your business will grow because you're not fixated on the number of followers you have. You're going out there and you're instead of making offer and offer after offer after offer, you focus on one solid offer. You refine it. You excel at selling it. You excel at marketing it. And guess what happens? Your people get results. And then because your people get results, guess what happens? They refer you. They renew. They become glowing testimonials that help you hit these big financial goals and actually create the financial freedom you're looking for. So when you stop fixating on the follower count, you can get not only fully booked, but sell out and even raise your prices so that you can hit those financial goals. Then, for the people who are full time, I know that you are a weekend warrior and I know that you might be working nights. There is nothing wrong with that. However, what I want to change is that you actually show up and you confidently talk about your offer. Instead of using your time to track trends, to track your reach, to see how many followers you have, I want you to use that time getting out there, talking to people. And when you do that, what's going to happen is you create more and more conversations. You create connections like a ripple effect in a pond. Your people start to know you as the lead person in your industry because you're talking about it. So let's say you're a career coach and you're talking to people about how to find more fulfillment in their career. Guess what happens? Then, if anyone gets laid off, if anyone knows somebody who's looking to change careers, if you know of anyone who's looking to move laterally or vertically in their career, you become the top of mind expert. People start referring you to people. And then what happens is because of that, then you start to sell out your offer. And for me, it was really important that I actually sold out my offer enough and created a cash reserve. So, worst case scenario, if no one signed up, I wouldn't be feeling scarce. I wouldn't put the pressure on my business. And then you can go full time and actually enjoy it. You can work from anywhere you want, whenever you want. You literally get to be your own boss. And this is a picture, and I didn't explain this over here, but I actually won an award for the certification school that I got certified in, the life coach school, because I rose so quickly. I literally made six figures in my first year full time. We'll talk about how that happened. It was a struggle, but we got there. But because of that, I became a top earner in my industry within a super short period of time. No business experience. I came from the teaching world. And I know that if I can do it, you can do it too, because it's just simple systems that got me there. And when we talk about working from anywhere, whenever you want, for me, that was so important. I actually started my business kind of to be a consistent contributor because I wanted to be able to have the flexibility to work from home. But this is Rob and I. For Rob's birthday, we went to Japan. And because I am a full timer, I can work from anywhere, wherever I want. If I wanted to take calls, I could. If I wanted to push them back, I could absolutely do that. I have been fully booked for the past 3 years, and I've only been in business for 4 years. The first half of the first full year, I wasn't fully booked the full time, but then after that first year, so I guess 4 years, I've been fully booked. I literally coach 30 hours a week, and I can push it if I want to because I have that time freedom. I also know that social media can be easy for the people who are struggling on social, for the people who think that you have to do a jazzy TikTok dance in order to get followers. I want to reassure you that that is not necessary. If you like doing the TikTok dances, I'm here for it. I support it. I don't. I feel like I want to make my marketing done as quickly as possible, and then I want to move on with my life and I want to actually help the people that I want. My passion is coaching. My passion is not to be a content creator or an influencer. It's not my goal. I actually want to help. And it's fine to be and have influence, but you want to be an expert with influence. You want to create a movement around you. And if you're able to stop that thought, I have to be fully booked in order to I have to have a large follower count to be fully booked. Guess what happens? Your social media is quick, it's easy, it's painless because you're not fixating on the algorithm anymore. For me, I get my marketing done in 90 minutes a week or less. And especially with the age of AI, I can get it done quick and then I can spend my time actually connecting with people I want to serve. And that's the most important thing. Not about posting. And we'll talk about how to do that. But I want you to know it's absolutely possible for you. An hour and a half a week can make you six and multiple six figures. The last piece here is you want to be an asset to your family. For those of you that are the stay-at-home startups, one of the things that I think is really important is knowing that your business can and will make money. There are ways that you can create and close consults during the time. Let's say you are a stay-at-home mom and you want to run your relationship coaching business at during the hours that your kids are at school, and then you want to be present with them when they come home. You can make consistent money from your business. You can actually be a contributor financially. And instead of your business creating a financial strain on your family, it's going to actually create the funds that you need in order to actually be a contributor. You're going to be an asset. Your children are going to be able to see that. And when we think about your business being an asset, this is something that was really important to me. My Grammy is one of my best friends. I love her dearly. She is incredible. I really do just think that family is so, so important. And this is last year, because of the income that my business has created, I was able to take a full, I think we took 10 days off, and me and my family were able to go to Paris. My Grammy has always wanted to go to Paris, and I was able to buy her these shoes that she has on that she is smiling so big with. She actually wants to wear them to my wedding, which is in October. And I am so excited because I've been able to be fully booked. I was able to do that with ease. And I want that for you. I want you to be able to go on trips and treat your family. I want, if you go out with people, you can say, oh, it's going to be my treat because you actually have the funds coming in from your business that make it happen. And I want you to know that all it takes isn't a follower count. You do not need a big follower count. All you need is a formula so that you can make way more in way less time. But like I said, the beginning of my coaching business was a journey. It was definitely one of those things that I really thought it did have to be really hard to be fully booked. And for me, when I started my business, I was working as a teacher. I got to October in my business, and then I signed 5 people, and they were consistent clients. They were on a 10-month contract. And then I went through a 7-month consult drought. So I literally went 7 months from October to April of 2021, no consults. But then, after I figured out pieces of this formula, because I hired a strategy coach, I had been working and I love mindset coaching. I'm here for it. But I was so frustrated by people just telling me, you just need to post more. You just need to have better thoughts. You need to be in a better energy. I was like, I am coaching myself every single day. I am a life coach, but I need a strategy. I'm seeing people doing things on social media, they're signing clients. I am missing something. And I was right. I was missing something. And if you aren't signing people from social media, if you're not fully booked from social media, you are missing something. And I want to tell you what it is today. So I figured out the missing pieces. And then I was still, even though I was teaching, I was able to make 47K that year. In 2022, my first year full time, I made 120K. Then I switched to business coaching in 2023 and I didn't dip. My business still grew even though I had switched niches. And then in last year, I made 371K scaling while I took 17 trips. And as of this year, as of July, I have now made 1 million in 5 years. And I know it's truly so possible. And it's not just possible for me, it's possible for you too. I have so many testimonials of clients that you're going to be hearing from. Also, in your emails, I'm going to be sending you more information about these people. But Jocelyn is one person I want to highlight, and you'll be hearing from more of them this evening and in your emails. But one of my clients, Jocelyn, she started working with me and immediately founded a strong coaching program. She founded what we called the Path to Freedom coaching program. It became her signature 3-month coaching program. It's a sober coaching program. And immediately after she created it, she had never said that she was a coach before. She had not been posting about coaching at all. And immediately she signed 3 clients in her first month because she used the systems I'm going to teach you. So the solution is you need to have a formula in order to make a plan, but then you need the systems in order to execute it. So what are the 3 pieces of the fully booked formula? It's very simple. Messaging, ask, close. Messaging, ask, close. We're going to talk through the attraction post formula, the authority signal system, and the action trigger framework. But when you have all these pieces working perfectly, you have a 6-figure business without a follower count needed. So what we need to do here for your messaging is you need to stop chasing the algorithm and you need to go beyond typical client create consults and not consults, content creation. So let's talk about this. You are not an influencer. You are an expert with influence. But because you are on social media, which who wouldn't use social media, you need to make your messaging strong. You are a service-based solopreneur. People are looking at your social like a website. They are seeing if they can trust you. And if you haven't signed a client directly from social media, that is because first and foremost, that messaging, that first persona, it's like a first impression. It's not strong enough to get people to buy. So we need to fix that. And instead of doing content pillars, you might have heard of that before, where people are like, oh, you need to do lifestyle. You need to have humor. You need to show some behind the scenes in your life. Sure, that's great. But the most important thing is because you are a service based business, you might be a coach or another solopreneur, you need to sell people with value. And I don't mean do just talk about value. I'm going to talk about specifically what I mean by that. But you can't just be posting on there. Oh, let me tell you about this. Let me show you a behind the scenes of how I get ready in the morning because that isn't valuable for them unless you are talking about a specific way for you to get ready in the morning. Now, followers convert when they actually feel like your offer is an investment, not a cost. You have to focus on showing people that what you do is valuable. Your messaging is responsible for three things. People need to get to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. If you haven't signed people just yet, or if you're not fully booked, even with a small follower count, this is a very quick fix. When you are thinking about your business right now, all you need to do is make sure that you're selling people and showing them that when they work with you, you are going to save them time, money, or create money and energy. You are a value add in their life. And right now, the things that you're talking about aren't feeling valuable enough for them for you to be fully booked or booked out and enough to raise your prices. And so that's what we want to focus on. We want to think about how can we create more value. Now, if we know that people need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you, what I recommend to my clients is instead of just focusing in on posting whatever's on their mind, I recommend that they choose a specific topic that they want to talk about that's valuable. So let's say you are a organization coach and you know that you help people to manage their time better because you talk about calendaring and things like that. What I recommend to my clients is instead of just talking about random things every day, going in and it's a Tuesday, so let me talk about boundaries. Okay, let me talk about how to tidy up your closet. Let me talk about how you can create a structure in your car so it feels organized. That feels chaotic. You're hurting the algorithm, in fact, because when you talk about so many different topics, what happens is the algorithm gets confused. It doesn't actually send people your way that want more organization, that want more of what you have to offer, because it's confused. It doesn't know how you're saving people time, money, and energy. And so that's why you might be lacking follower count. You also not might be having people, and again, vanity metrics like followers do not matter, but you also might be lacking people that are messaging you and engaging with you privately because they don't see it as valuable enough. So, what happens is when you have the attraction post formula, when you're able to really lock in your messaging, you go from chasing the algorithm, focusing on a weekly trend, being on your phone all the time to make sure you engage with people at the right time. And we've got seven, you track all of those metrics. You do not need to do that to be fully booked. Great news, because working for hours and getting zero likes creates nothing but skeptical consults. And that's how you know your messaging is off because they have no idea what you're selling. They're confused and you need to clean that up. And it's very quick and easy to do, but you have to clean up your messaging. That's the first thing that people see. It's like the first impression for your business. And if you want to attract clients, you need to make sure your posts do that for you. And when you have that, what happens is you actually spend less time posting. Your posts turn into consults. consults turn into clients and you actually get fully booked. And what happens is when your messaging is strong, people are already sold. They see your post, they like you already, and it's the easiest consult you'll do in your life. You get fully booked so quickly because people see that you're in demand. They're like, oh my gosh, I love what you have to offer. A lot of times when I'm doing consults, it's fantastic. This has been for the past 3 years. I will have people coming on the call and they're like, oh, I'm already sold. I just wanted to get to meet you. I'm like, great, great. Let's just talk about your business and how we're going to grow it. But they already know me. They like me. They trust me. My attraction post formula is working. I have that metric moving. And so the way that I do this within the attraction post formula, getting my messaging straight, is by talking about intangible pillars. I'm going through and I want you to think about, and if you're taking notes, make sure you take note of this. I want you to think about what are clients struggling with and what are they striving for. And for me, this became my program promise. One of the things that I think has really enhanced my messaging recently is I really thought about, okay, for those four types of people that I talked about, the rising earner, the stay home startup, the full time, and the person that's wanting to work on their messaging and on social media, what I thought about is like, when do they struggle? And for me, I want you to actually get granular and think about what is actually happening for them. I thought about one of the most painful times for me was when my partner would ask me, is your business going to make any money? And I know that was happening for people. So I started talking about it in a way. I'm not saying just talk about pain points and be like, isn't it terrible to have your partner message you and say, have you gotten any consults? And it feels really bad. No, we don't want to leave people there. We want to say, if your partner is asking you if your business hasn't made any money yet, we have to come up with a solid solution. They're not in the wrong. They're not trying to hurt you, but if they don't feel safe with your business, we need to create a strategy that shows them that you can create consults. And that's what we do in scaling systems. Within my mastermind, I will show you how to create consistent consults every month. And that will help you to have a solid answer. Yes, I am bringing consults. I know exactly where my next client is. And not only that, but I'm fully booked and I'm now bringing in more people. That creates, do you feel how that brings up the excitement that creates this motivation for people? That's what your posting needs to do. Then, with the striving, what are people striving for? This is where I was thinking about, especially when I was thinking about creating a really strong momentum for my people, I was thinking about what are the things that people are Googling? What are they actually thinking about? And for me, it was like how to get my post done faster. Because right now, their posts are taking all of their time. And that was the thing that I focused on in my marketing. You guys are going to see in the email marketing, what I typically do when I'm in a person's world is I save a folder of all their emails. And boy, do we have many emails coming out for you. They're going to be gold and you can literally repurpose. I'm giving you full on permission to literally take my emails that I'm sending to you, copy it, and figure out a way to make it work for your people because you're going to learn about that attraction post formula. You're going to see how I'm selling in my posts and in my marketing, and you're going to understand what creates that drive, what creates that momentum for people to sign up like hotcakes. And that's what creates my demand and it creates my program promise. Now, if you're still thinking, okay, Megan, I would like to be fully booked, but I definitely still believe I need a big following, let me tell you about Joy. Joy worked with me starting this year. She signed up with me in January and she had never coached on her own before. She'd only been a contract coach. She only had 102 followers. By May, she had made 50K in April and May of 2025. This year, even with all the crazy things that are going on in the economy, she is also a single parent and is a full-time parent. So within her business, she was able to make enough money in the first 5 months of this year to be fully booked and start her own mastermind. And she was also a money coach before, and now she's a business coach. So the way that you are thinking, she was a contracted money coach. She only has 263 followers, and she was able to get fully booked because she knows how to attract people with her posts. She was posting before, wasn't bringing in people, but because she knows how to build that know, like, and trust factor, she is bringing in people in droves, even though her follower count is small. The second piece of the fully booked formula is creating the authority signal system. What you need to do if you have a smaller audience, and even if you have a big audience, you need to be generating leads, aka bringing more people in every single month. You need to be talking to more people. You need to be getting in front of people to be fully booked and stay fully booked. Because I've seen people get fully booked before and then they stop their marketing, they stop asking people what to do, and guess what happens? Then their clients finish up and they're like, "Where are the people? What happened?" And I don't want that to be you. I want you to have consistent clients. And that's why you need to be focusing on your network. I have a love-hate relationship with this phrase, network equaling your net worth. I don't necessarily believe that that's true. But for the sake of this presentation, when we're thinking about being fully booked, you really have to think about, is my network a network of buyers? Do I have a group of people in front of me that I've created? My offer is a solution to a desperate problem they need to solve. And do they see me as the authority, as the expert that they want to buy from? So you don't need a huge network, but you need a network of people that are feel compelled enough to buy from you, that they are ready to buy. And what happens is, I know a lot of you guys think that, like, in order to build your network, in order to make these asks of people, in order to get in front of more people, talk to more people about what you do, it can feel really salesy and uncomfortable at first. And I get that. A lot of times when you are sharing about something that is something you're so passionate about, especially as a solopreneur, it can feel like a very big weight. And you can make a lot of people's reactions to your business mean a lot about you. And I want you to take this from this webinar, is that you are not your business. You are not your business. The way that people react to you and your offer does not mean that you are a good person, a bad person, a smart person, a successful person. It is a litmus test of the quality of your offer. So when you're thinking about your business, when we're thinking about that network that you are building, you need to find and serve the people who need help. It's not spam messaging every single person in your audience saying, "Buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff." It's about being very strategic and getting in front of the right people who want to work with you. So let's talk about it. How do we get in front of people? You want to create connections. You want to be finding and building relationships. Again, think about, you're a service-based business. Your job is to serve people. You're going to be working with people more than just like, if somebody was selling a product, if they're like, "Here, buy this cup," it's an instant transaction and it's not actually going to be focused on creating that buying experience. People need to feel connected with you in order to buy. And we need to stop this notion of waiting for people to come to you, because fully booked coaches don't believe that. They go out and they find their people. Fully booked coaches don't need big followings, they need follow ups. They need to follow up with people, they need to find people, and that's what you need to do. And if you do not have the authority signal system, if you aren't asking people and talking to people about working with you, what happens is you have empty inboxes, you obsess over your posts and your reach, and you don't get in front of enough people, which leads to plateaued months. When you have this, what happens is you get relevant DMs. You guys, me talking with you, if I have, fun fact, the algorithm, there were 400, and Bridge, I think it was 455 people that signed up for this webinar. And so I was trying to get to know everybody and talk with people beforehand, figuring out what your offers are, figuring out what it looks like to be fully booked. And guess what happened? The algorithm actually thought I was a bot. So if I haven't personally reached out to you, I will. If you want to reach out to me, I think the algorithm is cooler with that. But I have relevant DMs. I'm responding to people, and it's so fun because I'm talking with people about their business, what I love to do. It's like I'm coaching you guys ahead of time, which is so fun. And that actually creates a relationship with the people who want to use your support. So you all, even with a teeny, teeny, tiny audience, you need to get to know, like, and trust and build that with your audience. And I want you to think about, there are cold people who don't know you at all. They need to hear about your personal story. There are warm people that need to get to like you. They need to know your philosophies. They need to see maybe some coaching ahead of time. Send them a video, send them a podcast, send them a journal prompts, whatever you need to do, but show them that you are a person that gives them value, and then post testimonials for them to trust you. Show that it doesn't just work for you, it works for everyone. And that creates what we call a pipeline to get people onto a consult, and then they close and then they get fully booked. And Ying went from a $0 course launch to 84K in her first launch of her certification. She's already, I think, at around, she's over 300K for this year. And this is literally just in this year because she knows how to make the ask. She isn't afraid to go out and talk to people. She is feels like it is her duty and her responsibility to go out there and find humans that need her help. It's almost like if you started and opened up a restaurant and you were just like cooking for yourself at home. And you're like, yeah, people should just come to me. Friends, we actually have to tell people, first and foremost, with your messaging, that you're open and we need to ask people to come to your restaurant. And last but not least, we need to close them. We actually need to get them through the door of your restaurant by doing the action trigger framework, which is positioning you and your offer in a way that people want to buy. And I know that you might be thinking, okay, well, if I just had some consults, then I would close them. But I want your close rate to be way higher than industry standard. I want your close rate to be something that creates you being fully booked way more than not. And I want you to know that content isn't king, connection is. And if you really want to create conversions, if you want to sign client, you need to create strong conversations on your sales calls, on your consultations. Because when you're thinking about the action trigger framework, you need to be solving their problems versus selling coaching. You don't want to be selling them. For you guys who are joining the mastermind within this next week, I'm not selling you on, can't you wait to come to 3 hours of coaching calls? I'm selling you on, you are going to prevent every single problem that you could possibly make before you make it. And when you make mistakes, because it's not an if, it's a when, you are going to have the support and community to get you through. And so I'm selling you on the benefit of the coaching call versus the feature. They don't care about how jazzy your portal is. They want to think about their problems. And if you can solve them, people will take action quickly. And so the way I like to think about this is creating relevancy and urgency, really thinking about the way that you're positioning it to the person that you're there with. So let's say when you are thinking about your service and you're talking with moms, and let's say you're a coach for mom, instead of saying, I am certified in the Marie Kondo organization method, you'll say, I'm going to help you get your home organized so it feels like it flows so well and you have this stress-free home that you can actually enjoy your time with your kids. Way more compelling. Then I want you to think about not necessarily niching, but just solving their problem. Thinking about on the consult call, you need to be closing them. And if you are not creating an urgent enough solution, let's say if you are trying to help somebody and they need to lose weight, you need to bring up, instead of being like, yeah, losing weight is great. You want to be like, if you want to lose weight so that in the Christmas card pictures and at your work's Halloween party, you look fantastic, work with me. I can help you to make it happen in a simple, easy, and doable way. I'm going to make it something that you just have to show up to the calls. You just have to tell me what's going on for you, but I can make it happen. I can help you lose the weight before the wedding, before the event, so that it can work, so that in a way that works for you. That's creating an urgent problem that people want to solve versus like talking about weight loss in an esoteric, generic way. And when you have the action trigger framework, what happens is you get more consults on the books. And instead of panicking when somebody says no, you have a consistent flow of consults. This is the last piece of the fully booked formula. You could have the best messaging in the world. You can be having a ton of conversations, but if you don't close the consults, you're going to waste all week on a consult, and you're also going to get ghosted no shows that affect you. I want you are going to get people that ghost you eventually. You will probably have no shows, and it's not going to affect you because you have so many consults on the books. And we're going to talk about doubling in just a second. But my client Holly, when she started working with me, she had been making 53K. She's actually in one of the emails that you're going to get, I think, on Wednesday. But when she was working with me, she was consistently around 50K for 4 years. And what happened is she started working with me, closing those consults. And within 6 months, she went to 135K for her rolling 12. She literally had already made 53, it was like 56K just halfway through the year. And I know that happens because you are able to really create a strong, fully booked formula. So, for all of you, first and foremost, I want you to know that being fully booked by the end of the year is so possible. And if you are skeptical, it's because you haven't tried or created strong messaging, you haven't made enough asks, and you haven't closed enough consults. But it is so simple to do. You have to have a really strong offer and presence. You need to build authority and know people need to know you as the expert. And you also need to close people because they see that you are solving a problem that is relevant and urgent for them to solve. So, we talked about why it feels so hard. We also went through and talked about a marketing system to get fully booked before 2026, and also the 3 steps of the fully booked formula: messaging, ask, close. That's all. And case studies of why this works. And I know I've actually been running the Scaling Systems Mastermind in variations over the past 3 years. And I've done so much work to figure out what works for different businesses. And every business is different, every business is unique. But this flow with individual tweaks has worked for hundreds of my clients. And it's what's helped me make 1 million in 5 years. And I know those averages are not typical. And I want you to know that if you're like, okay, Megan, I get it. My messaging isn't strong enough. I see that I'm not making enough asks and I'm not closing enough consults. This is why I'm not fully booked. It checks out. I'm hearing it. But if you're thinking that you need somebody to help you do this, if you want support to make your messaging insanely strong, if you want these systems in your business, and you want to work with somebody who will hold your hand and make sure that you do all of it right, I would love for you to join the Scaling Systems Mastermind. It is my 12-month mastermind, and I'm going to explain to you all the things about it. And if you have questions as we're going on, go ahead and put them in the Q&A, and I will definitely answer them at the very end. So I found not only does this program, Scaling Systems, work best for the rising earners, for the people who are the stay-at-home startups, for the people who are creating struggling with social media, and the people who are working full time, but I do know that these are also for people who have made over 10K, and you get it, you're like, I've clearly signed at least a few clients, but there is not enough that I know I'm not using my time wisely. I need somebody to help me know what to do when I wake up on a Monday. I want to know exactly what my monthly plan is. If you are at a revenue plateau and you want to scale without adding a bunch of things to your plate, this is the perfect time to join. And I'm going to be talking about a bonus if you join tonight. And Bridge, if you could do me a favor and put the link to join Scaling Systems in the chat. I think we are the only 2 people that can actually add that, but that would be great if you can. If you are a revenue plateau and you want to scale without adding things to your plate, there are ways that you can. Let's say you're working around 10 hours to try and get all of your posts done. You are trying to figure out ways to get people to message you. I've had people who've told me they've literally paid for followers. Please don't do that. I want to make it very easy and simple. We're going to focus and double down on what worked. And you don't have to add a bunch of things to your plate. You don't have to start a podcast, make a website, create business cards, go to a networking event every single day. You just have to follow simple things that you can do every day in a routine. If you've made over 50K and you're ready to scale to 100K in a sustainable way, and I say 100K plus, these are the exact same systems that I'm using to scale to 1 million, and I know it's going to work for you too. I also will be talking about that in a minute, but there's lots of ways that you can make that work. If you have other jobs or priorities and you need to have systems to make your schedule work and use your time in the most efficient way, Scaling Systems is a program for you. Now, how do I make it work? How do I ensure that every single one of my clients is getting results? This was one of the hardest things for me to figure out because for me, I like to be in your business. I want to know what your offer is. I get nosy. I'm like, how many people are you talking to? Do you have enough people coming in? Let's make a plan for this. And I want you to get that feedback, not not monthly, not annually, not once and then you're done. I want to give you one-on-one feedback every single week. Within the mastermind, we start the group call, you fill out a form, and I give you a Loom video. And currently, it's just me. I'm going to be hiring co-coaches to support me, but if you sign up right now, you are going to get one-on-one feedback from me every single week. You're also going to be doing monthly evaluations. And I will give you a social media audit. If I'm like, okay, this is why people aren't buying. I don't see your testimonials very clearly. People don't even know that you have an offer. That is the thing that I have found to be the thing that moves the needle the fastest is getting one-on-one feedback extremely quick. And beyond that, you also get a six-figure strategy document. So I don't know how many of you guys are in other programs, if you've done courses and things like that before, but for me, I will be on calls, I will get coached, and then I forget what I get coached on. I am an excellent note taker, as many of you know, but within my note taking ability, what happens is I will forget which day I got coached on this piece, when I figured out my launching strategy, when I went through did my launching plan. And so what I want you guys to do, you're going to be able to go through and see all of that in your six-figure strategy document. And I keep all of your notes. Actually, my amazing VA, Bridge, who is on this call tonight, she goes through every single week and figures out who got coached. And you have a massive document. So 12 months from now, October to October, you will see every single time that you got coached. You will see what your revenue goals are. You will see whether you hit those goals. You'll see all of my feedback all in one place, which is what I call your six-figure strategy doc. And we'll be working through and trying to reach your goals every single week, every single month, and you're gonna have different things to implement each time. So that is the first piece of things. The next piece is a virtual support portal. So one of the things that I've also found to be helpful is, let's say you're working full time and you're gonna have to miss some of the calls, but you need my help to make your October marketing calendar. Guess what you get to do? You can post your entire marketing calendar. It's in a Google document that I give you, and we can customize it and create it together in a virtual stream. So you are going to be able to message me if you have any questions. You can post webinars, consult emails. This person DM'd me this. What do I say? And I will literally respond to the things that you're asking right within the stream. The other thing that's really exciting is, one of the things that we've realized is a lot of times there are trending audios. There are things that help you convert cold leads, bring in more people. So guess what we've done? We have gone and done research to figure out what are the trends, what are things that people are following, and just like I told you to take a look at my emails, see how I'm selling, and you can use those for your audience too. I'm going to give you, within the mastermind, you get content templates where I teach you why I'm posting certain things. I give you different trending audio, and you can literally take the post that I did and customize it and create it for your audience that can help you get to all the way through 10K months. Know how I mentioned the seven-figure systems? I'm going through and I'm creating different modules to help you get there. But currently we have group offers launching, and we even have guest speakers cover everything from email lists to websites. So if you're like, oh, well, I need to create a website first before I join Scaling Systems, please don't. When you join the Scaling Systems Mastermind, it is actually easier if you're starting from scratch for me to give you feedback, because what happens is one of my clients did all this work. They waited to join the mastermind, and guess what happened? We had to review their whole website. And now they're going back in and painstakingly reviewing all of these different pages because they didn't ask first. If you join, you'll be able to prevent yourself from doing extra work, and your offers will just start strong versus needing a lot of revision in the future. Then, like I mentioned, we do live coaching. So you get these individual progress forms, but you are also going to get coached live every single week. We do 3 hours of live coaching, one that's advanced, all about launching webinars and group programming, and then another one that's all about just general coaching. Anything from I just got ghosted on a from somebody who I really thought was going to convert, all the way to how can I plan out my group programming. Everything is fair game. We just include both calls in order for people to kind of have some variability. And also, more coaching prevents more problems for you. The next thing is you are going to learn the foundational 5 systems. You're going to learn how to create a 6-figure offer, master marketing, create a way to manage leads, which means generating new leads and nurturing your current audience. You will create a strong way to sell and plan out your time and finances, which means that you're going to set up these modules on your own and get a Google folder that is ready for you to customize. So, when you join the mastermind, like I mentioned, you get a 6-figure offer. I'm going to teach you how to get an offer that people feel crazy to refuse. You're going to have clear and confident marketing. That messaging, that first piece of the fully booked formula, you will never wonder why your content isn't converting. You will know exactly what piece of your marketing on social media is missing that doesn't really signal people that, hey, I'm an authority and you want to buy from me. The next thing is you are going to get higher sales conversion. I guarantee if you are doing consultations to sell your offer right now and you are not actually converting them, what happens is you probably have missed something on a sales call, and I can help you prevent that for future calls. You're also going to do an easy lead management protocol that's purely organic. Currently, I'm going to be adding ads and talking about doing advertisements within the mastermind, but all of the lead management that I'm talking about right now is purely organic. Free 50. So for you guys, if you are like me and you want the cheap and cheerful way to scale, that is the perfect thing to do. And if you're thinking about doing planning and metric tracking, you are going to know exactly how to spend every single minute of your day. I will help you pull up your Google Calendar. I will tell you who to contact. I'll be like, okay, contact these organizations on Tuesday, talk to your new followers on this day, reach out to friends and family on Thursday, go ahead and reach out to former consults on Friday. And you're going to have that ready to go. So there's no guesswork. You're not going to be like, oh, what am I supposed to do today? We are going to make those plans for you on the mastermind calls and or in the portal. So if you are looking to have a clear direction, if you're like, I really want my business to succeed this year, it might have been a rough year, and that's fine. I want to help you succeed. There are simple shifts that you can make, and you can find your clear direction. You can create so much clarity for your offer, and you can have the strategy to get there. So again, like I mentioned, I had amazing mindset coaches, and I am a mindset coach myself, but we're not just going to be talking about how to fix and focus on your imposter syndrome. We're not going to be talking only about confidence. You are going to get a chance to really focus in on what is making me a leader in this industry. How am I creating in really the energy that brings someone into being fully booked? And you get your 6-figure formula from there. So, like I mentioned, there are scaling calls and main calls for the mastermind within the 12 months. And I want to get to this because one of the things that I think is the most important, what I really wish that I had had when I was starting out, is what is available tonight. And you guys might be hear a bunch of dings. Apparently, I'm getting all these emails coming in about the business. So I apologize for that. But within your business, when you're thinking about growing, one of the things that I think is really important is that one-on-one feedback. And there is an offer that has happened that was kind of a mistake, but it is great. And I'm only offering this for 10 people. I have created a 48-hour bonus. So, as you've heard these dings, I don't know if all the spots are gone just yet, but within the 48-hour bonus, I am offering what's called the double your income call. It is not necessarily on purpose, but accidentally, it is now a 3-hour call. And we're going to be talking about your 6-figure offer. We are going to talk about how to make your entire content plan for the year in hour 2. And we are also going to talk about your lead strategy. This 3-hour call is only available for 10 people because I want you guys to think about this. That is 30 hours, 30 hours of coaching. Did not realize it. And within, that's why I'm only offering this for a short amount of time for just the first 10 people that are like, I'm ready to take my business seriously. I know I want to go to the next level. I am ready and I want these systems to make my life a lot easier. The double your income bonus is for you. And again, I'm so sorry for all the dings. I think we're having some messages come through about it because an email went out to my email list of 6,000 people at 8. So we were dripping it toward to all 6,000 people. And you guys are at least live on the call. So you get a chance to understand, ask questions, understand what it is. But all of those people are competing for the 10 spots for this 3-hour call. So if you want to know exactly what your offer is, I actually call these typically a VIP day. So if you want to know exactly what your offer is, if you want to have a really strong marketing plan and you want to create more engagement and have a plan to bring in more leads, this is the perfect bonus for you. And I just want to share about something. Emily, and we've been celebrating all over our private Instagram group for the mastermind and all over the stream, but she has been doing a phenomenal job. She is the Brave Widow coach. And within our mastermind, she was posting inconsistently. And now she only takes an hour a week to post. And she brought in 7 consults in April alone, 8 consults halfway through May. So she literally doubled. And I just found out that she has already passed her income for all of last year already. And she's definitely going to come back on the podcast. But the way that, like, she has had a close to 20K month because of the systems that I teach you. Doubling is possible. When I say double your income, if you feel skeptical, that's because you haven't had the right strategy in place to make it happen. It is very simple. Doubling your income is a numbers game. I've been able to do it twice. I went from 47 to 120. I was able to go from 156 to 371, and I'm going to double probably next year into the year after. I'm going to go from 500K this year to a million next year. That's my plan. And I know that I can do that because it's literally numbers. I know how to do it because I know the strategy. I know exactly what I'm going to do to make that happen. And I want you to feel that confident about your business. Like I know exactly where my next consult's coming from because it is possible. So I want to take a minute and I want you to think about 12 months from now. It's going to be October 20 or September 22nd of 2026. Your kids are going to be older if you have kids. You might be living in a different location. And I want you to think about where you want your business to be. And I thought about doing a diagram, but I didn't get a chance to. And I was thinking about it's almost like the tale of two business owners. One gets help, one doesn't get help. And it's not necessarily that the person who doesn't get help is a worse or a less smart person. But what happens is they don't have a coach. Or think about like even if they're going on a run and they're both trying to run a mile, but the one who doesn't have a support system, they might go up and go back. They might be running sideways. They might be going diagonal. They might be running backwards. They don't know where to go. It's almost like a scavenger hunt. Instead of somebody saying, here is the path, walk the path, you might trip on the way there, but I will be there to support you. There is a very simple way to do this. And I want you to know that that is possible for your business too, regardless of how much time you have. And Leslie is a perfect example for that. She founded the Localpreneur Academy and she had already actually had a 6-figure business. So if you are listening to this and you're thinking, oh, this is just for beginners, she knew that she had a 6-figure business and had her first child and was like, I'm going to need to cut back. I can't continue to work 40-hour weeks. I want to work 20 to 25-hour weeks and stay and exceed 6 figures. And we created the exact systems to make that happen. She created engagement in her group. She ended up selling spots without even doing consults. And that is the kind of results that you can create too. Now, for everybody that's on this call, I would love to have you join by 10/5. October 5th is not this Sunday, but it is next Sunday. And I wanted to give a special closing cart bonus for you because one of the things that I think is really important is making sure that you have more and more support, especially at the pre six figure stage, even post six figures. You want to get coached as much as possible. You want people to be in your ear as much as possible. And in 2021, I had three one-on-one coaches. I was in two group programmings and I was in a mastermind. And for me, when I joined, I knew I wanted to make sure that I was super supported. I had as many calls a week as I could to make sure that I didn't get in my head and I didn't stay quiet. I was able to actually grow. I've never been without a coach in my whole 5 years of my business. And I think that's why I've done as well as I have. And I want you to know that if you join, you not only get all of marketing systems and all of the program that is in there, but you also get an extra hour of coaching every single week. So make sure that you sign up by October 5th because it is going to be critical for you to make sure that happens. Now, if you are like, okay, Megan, I'm feeling really sold, but I really want to talk to you about how scaling systems could work for my business, and I want that double your income bonus. What we're doing is if you sign up for a consult and then sign up for scaling systems, then you get the double your income call. So all you have to do, because I realized that the consult calls were booked for tomorrow and for Wednesday. Some of the calls were booked. I think we still have a couple of hours on the consult calendar, but I had a couple of people writing in this morning that were saying, "Hey, I really want to join, but I want to meet with you first," and I didn't physically have time available for them. So what I would love for you to do is if you are serious about joining, book your consult before Wednesday and you will still get the double your income call. I will still honor that bonus for you as long as you obviously join because like I'm not going to give away a 3 hour call just for booking a consult. That would be lovely. But if you actually join Scaling Systems, then you still get that 3 hour call, even if we end up doing our consult on Friday of this week and it's after the bonus. Now, if you're like, Megs, I just want to pay right away. I have been saving up for this. I've been thinking about this. Let's go. I just got to swipe it on my Amex. We're going to get it ready to go. I want more one-on-one time with you besides the double your income call. So for you all, I want you to know that if you pay in full, we can meet quarterly. We can do 4 one-on-one calls throughout the year where I think that mapping out your content would be helpful. But also, if you need any mindset work, if we need to evaluate things, we are going to be able to do that if you pay in full. So that is it for our presentation today. I am so excited to have you. And I know we went a smidge over, but I will stay until every single question is answered. And I am seeing a lot. Oh my gosh, great. We love to see it. Let's talk about any questions that we have. Okay, great question, Julie. How do the calls work? How many are there? And how often are there replays for the people who are working 9 to 5? So, Julie, great question. The way that the calls work is I have people start off with a win. I go through and I create this, because, a fun fact, it takes 5 positive thoughts to replace every negative thought. So, within the mastermind, we will start off with a win and then we'll open it up for coaching. The coaching will either be one of two things. It'll be a mindset problem or it will be a strategy problem. There might be a mix of both. So what I will do is I might be pulling up your content calendar. Julie, if you're like, okay, I need you to look over my website, I can do that as a strategy piece of the call. Or if there's something that happens where you're like, I haven't signed somebody in forever, or I'm going on, there's some life is lifing, like one of my clients, Sally, her house flooded and she had to move out 3 weeks into the mastermind. And we were able to coach from her hotel room. And she was able to bring in 3 consults, even while her family was literally living in a hotel room. So it might be mindset, it might be strategy, but either way, there will be replays. And I actually just had Kristen, everyone who was on the podcast this week, and Barbara and Kristen, all of them have a 9 to 5 and they either take time away from their workday, a long lunch, or what happens is they go through and they post in the stream. And Kristen is a teacher. She doesn't typically have time off because it's not her planning period. But she said what she does is she just goes through the marketing systems modules and she'll post in the stream. So that makes it helpful. Okay, Kristen, great question. Are you willing to share what your daily ad spend is? Your copy is your copy about oh, I'm sorry. Kristen, I get it. So, seeing is your partner asking about, is your business going to make money? How many consults are booked is really frustrating, and I'm so sorry. So, let me first and foremost address the ad spend. So, I like to say that I have made a million organically because a lot of the things that I've done that haven't worked out as planned. So, I just hired an ads coach, and I've been learning about running ads this year, and we've been testing out a lot of things. The thing that is interesting for me is, and I'm giving you a long backstory, but I promise that it's relevant, Kristen. But what happened is I kind of struggled my way to my first six figures, and then I figured it out, and then I was good to go. Now I teach other people how to do it faster and better than what I did. But now I'm doing the same to seven figures. And I have the best coaches ever, and no one is really teaching me the systems and strategy I need, which is totally fine. So I'm going through and kind of trial and erroring it on my own. So we've tried a lot of things. Typically for my daily ad spend, it depends. So I don't know if you, and again, I've been learning a lot about ads and I'm still a novice. So within our ads, what we're doing is we test different ad sets. So for this webinar, what we did prior to the webinar is we were running different ad sets of five different videos of either my talking heads, which is me talking on the videos, and we would choose like a little bit of money for each of them. I think we were doing like $5 per ad spend. I think it ended up being around $20. But for anyone who's like, I'm not doing ads, this is irrelevant. I learned something last week and I was talking with people in my mastermind about their philosophy on this. And what I realized is one of the girls on there, she said, how much money do you think that you're going to make from this launch? And we were spitballing back and forth. My goal is to get 15 people in. And she was like, wait a second. Your mastermind is $7,500. Do you think you would sign at least one person in this launch? And I'm like, oh, yeah, for sure. This is going to be great. And what happened is she was like, you should then spend 7,500 on the marketing, on the ads. And I was like, wow, that's a very interesting way to think about it. Now, again, those of you who aren't doing ads, still pay attention because the way that she's thinking about it is even if the marketing, even if it just evens out, even if it breaks even, you're still better off. You've got more leads, you've got more people, you have a better understanding of your audience than you did before you spent the money. Same with investing in coaching. When you're thinking about it, if you are like, okay, $7,500, that's a fair amount. It's not cheap. It's $650 a month. But when you're thinking about making that investment, when you're thinking about growing your business, I always like to play on the side of I'm going to make this investment work for me. And that's exactly what I'm going to do with my ad spend. So previously, my strategy was to keep it small. And now I'm going all in on my business, not for this launch because it's already, the time has passed, but for the next launch on the mastermind, eventually when we do that, it might be next year. I'm not sure. So again, if this is like the time when you're like, I need to get support in 2025, this is the last launch that the mastermind is going to be open for 2025. So just a heads up for all of you that are thinking about joining, the next round is going to be starting in 2026 for sure. It might even be later in 2026. So make sure that if you're thinking at all about joining the mastermind, this is a good time to join. And I would recommend for your ad spend, first and foremost, test it to make sure that it's viable. But also, when you start getting people in, like we have 455 people registered for this webinar, and I typically have a pretty high conversion rate of people that come to webinars. So I would say test it strategically. Create a system that you feel comfortable with. I have systems that I'm testing and I'm teaching my clients, but I would say that would be what I would recommend is either test it in small increments and then once you figure out that it works, go big or go home. Now, for the partner asking, how many consults have you booked with your partner? I want you to know that your partner is coming from a really good place. This was actually my situation with my ex, so this is not my current partner. But one of the things that was happening is they felt scared and they felt insecure about my spending. They were nervous that I was actually going to make money, which is valid. Like, I understand where they're coming from. However, it can be so demoralizing. Like, Kristen, this was the time when I had to double down. This is when I hired all of those coaches because I just couldn't have his thoughts in my ears. It was just like, and I just had to stay in my lane, stay focused. Now, he did have breaking up with me, which was not ideal, but you don't have to leave your partner in order to create a stronger situation with them. I would just say transparency is key. And I actually created, if you, I don't know if you're thinking about joining the mastermind, but I created a guide to send to partners because a lot of times when you're investing in these things, they don't know what it's like. And they're like, you've invested in programs before. Why haven't they worked? I can tell them why it worked and why it didn't work and why this is different. So it can be really, really frustrating. They don't understand, especially as an entrepreneur, that things don't happen as quickly as an employee. But I would say stay in your own lane and then also communicate as much as possible. And I'm sending you so much love for that. Julie, you joined. Oh my gosh, amazing. I can't wait to have you in the mastermind. And I'm going to send out the double your income call. I don't think I mentioned this, but that's going to be on October 5th. It is that I will send out the link to join because I want to make sure I leave open the consult times, but then you'll be able to book it for all of that next week. So very, very excited to have you in the mastermind. And the onboarding day will be on October 6th at 4 p.m. So you can ask questions about the systems. But here, I'll go ahead and show you this since you joined. Welcome. I wanted to make sure that you guys had a chance to get fully onboarded first. So we are going to do that onboarding day on October 6th. But beforehand, you are going to get access. And anyone who joins tonight, you're going to be able to join marketing systems. So I'll show you what that looks like. Here's marketing systems. I'm going to scroll through things really quickly so that you don't see things that are anonymous. But here's the portal, and you can start talking. There are two things that you're going to get access to. There is a community, and then there is a portal with educational modules. So when you look at the communities here, you're going to get access to both of these. Scaling systems, you're not going to see any posts. You're not going to be able to join the calls until later, but balloons for that. But what you're going to be able to do is when you join, you're going to get access instantly to marketing systems, and you can binge watch all of these videos. You can go ahead and watch them. And then you're also going to get access to all of the calls. So you can click here. You can go ahead and add your calls to the calendar, and then you can start posting any questions that you want. They're in here with all 44 of our marketing systems crew. And then in the scaling systems, you're going to be able to come in and join these calls as well. Our first call's tomorrow at 10, Julie. So if you're free, come on over, join us, and you're going to be able to see all the portal in here. You're going to be able to get access. I have like the main portal. This is the foundational 5, CEO self-concept, 6-figure offer, marketing systems, selling, managing leads, and planning. I kind of combined these two initially. So those are the modules, and you can start looking at the replays right away. And you're going to be getting an email from support@meganwingcoaching.com. Depending on if you paid in full or did the payment plan, you'll also get access to the one-on-one calls. And then, oh, it logged me out. Let me see. Let me switch it around. Join the group, log in. I'm telling you guys, I'm so sorry I was a little late for the call. Well, I was like right on time, but I was panicking a little bit because technology wasn't letting me log into my own Zoom. Such a travesty. But here are all the additional systems. You'll learn how to do webinars, make a 5-year plan. All of this you should have access to right now. So Julie, if you don't mind going and checking, we'll make sure that you're added to the classrooms, and you can join us right away, which will be great. We even have like TikTok trainings, nervous system, website creation. All of these bad boys are in here. And then you'll also get access to the scaling systems. Oh, I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint slide again. You'll also get access to our little Instagram group too, which will be great. Any other questions? Let me see what else is open. Of course, Kristen, anytime. Anytime. Also, the replay will be up until the 5th for this webinar. So I'm going to pause my screen share. Slideshow version. Let's put like this. And hopefully when I pause my screen, you guys can still see it. But I wanted to pull up some other things for you as well. All right, let me go ahead and ask some of the questions. Bridge, if you don't mind going through, I know we were creating a compilation of all the questions that people were asking, but I wanted to go ahead and address some of them here for the people who couldn't be here. So I know Holly was asking me, so she is, I actually worked with Holly before, and we were working together and she took a pause, but I think that she's thinking of coming back and joining the mastermind. And one of the things that she was asking and thinking about was, when I'm in this program, am I going to have access to group coaching and feedback? She has a group that's launching on October 1st. And I wanted to let you know if that's a situation for you. Absolutely. I can absolutely help you to do that. I think that would be so, so important for you guys to really figure out exactly what when we're thinking about your groups, there are so many nuances. Every single thing that you're seeing for this launch it changes from launch to launch, but I have a system now that is set, that is figured out, and I would love to work with you through it. So one of the things that will happen is, again, from these amazing 455 people that have registered for this, one of the things that I think is really important is that second piece of the fully booked formula, the ask piece. When you're actually talking to people, when you're actually building those relationships, is really important. And that's why I want to get to know each and every one of you guys that is attending this, even though I'm getting banned on the Facebook from messaging people. It's because I really do want to get to know each and every one of you. So, Holly, for you, you said that you had 50 registrants for your webinar, which is fantastic. And for you, what I would do is I would attempt to make a personal connection with every single person that was in there. Most people, with the emails, like I really do want you guys to get as much as you can from this webinar and use the emails. Use them. Help it guide your buying. I want you to not only just have the material that you learned, but I want you to be able to have other things too. So for you, oh, and then Bridge said we have 465 registrants. So one of the things that I think is really, really important as you're going through and as you're building your business, you want to make sure that most people won't read every single email. And I know that, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. I'm making sure that I connect individually with each and every one of you so that you guys don't have to read every single email in order to convert. And I would recommend doing the same. Now, one of the reasons why I'm sending you guys all to the Facebook group is so I can actually get your social media, because I know that sometimes like it's easy to tune out emails. So I would try and build relationships with people on social first. And if you're like, I'm one-on-one, group coaching doesn't apply to me yet, for you all, you need to follow the same procedure. You need to have that same understanding that, hey, when I'm talking with people online, it's not just for now. It's not just for this one situation that is happening for you. This is something that is really, really critical for all of you. So make those relationships, make the ask, talk to people, and don't just like have silly conversations. People are busy. Don't waste their time. You are a professional. And think about it, if you were like a surgeon, surgeons don't talk to you. I mean, like if they want to make a little bit of small talk, that's fine. But they're usually talking to you about the acute problem that you need surgery for, right? So you don't want to talk to people and just have a very casual relationship with them and say, what's your favorite color? Because that's not going to get a conversation started. You need to ask them very important questions about what you can actually help them with. And that's one of the main things we do in the mastermind is we create every new follower that you have, you should send them a closed-ended question. Start building the relationship before you make an ask. Act like, and you are like asking them a question, but you're not asking them to do a consult right away. A lot of people get like weird about DMs and they say, oh, like you're teaching like the spammy buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. The only thing that I ever send out to my entire audience is something that is a free low ticket offer. I never spam my audience and say join marketing systems, join scaling systems. I always go through and I make sure that I have a relationship with them first. I know what they're going through, and I don't pitch to anyone who I don't think would be a good fit. Talked with a DJ and I was like, here are the ways I could help you, but it seems like you've got this figured out. So I didn't work with them. If someone was like, hey, like, Kristen, I'm going to learn to be an expert on ads. But if someone was like, I want you to teach ads all the time, I would say, no, I'm not qualified to do that. Right now, I'm getting there. I can teach you how to set things up. I can get you going. And I have strategies that I'm testing first. Like, I never want you to work with me. If I ever give you theory, I will tell you it's theory. I'm like, this is my theory behind this. This is what I'm testing, but it's not tested, tried, proven, and true. The foundational five tested, tried, proven, true for hundreds of clients. So it's not just me. Again, every single day, you're going to be receiving at least, I think, three testimonials. So three testimonials before now and the fifth. I think that's 3 times 7 is 21, math guys. Times 2 is 42. So I have at least 42 testimonials of people that are not Megan Wing that this worked for, and I know this will work for you too. Now, depending on how fast you'll get results, that's a very good question. We like tenacity. Where I'm coming from is I know that people who take relentless, massive action get results the fastest. But what creates people feeling willing to go and just take a bunch of action, follow my systems to a T, is your ability to have confidence in yourself, have confidence in my process, and trust that there are people out there that are ready to buy. So for you, if you're listening to this right now and you're like, okay, I've done a bunch of other programs, how fast will I get results? I'm going to coach you to become the tenacious business owner that loves to take action, that you feel safe taking the action, you feel like it's easy, it's simple, it's doable. And if you ever struggle with something like feeling insecure when you walk into a networking group, by the way, it's not just fully social media. I do in-person stuff too. I've had people sign so many clients without social, but you're going to be able to do this as well. Okay. Coming back to the questions. When Oh, okay. So, one of my sweet client or one of my sweet friends messaged me and she's going through a hard time personally. I mean, we've all been there. Life is an interesting thing, and she knows that this is the last launch of the year for her to get support, and she knows that she needs some help. She's like, "Hey, what October, November, and December, that's the last quarter of the year. This is like the most important time of the year for you guys to get started and get help." And she was like, I'm going through different things. You know who you are when you listen to this, going through the separation and things like that, and was worried that this felt like another thing. I get that. I want you to hear me. If you're going through a hard time in your life right now, I'm here for you. There are also people who are listening right now that are going through things that were completely unexpected that are my clients. I'm seeing you, I'm here for you. And we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We know that you might be going through something right now. And I want to offer you that it's a lot easier when you do it with support. And I would love to help you support you through this time. I didn't go through a full separation, but when I was dumped after 8 years, for me, I knew that my business would not do as well without support. So immediately I hired coaches to support me. And if I can be that person for you, I would love to be that person for you. I know that you feel maxed out. Like this is the most that you can handle. And I want to offer that in scaling systems within this 12-month mastermind, I don't want your business to take a hit. I want you to grow from it. That's what happened for me. The year I was dumped was my first six-figure year. I was dumped in March of 2022 and I made 120K in 2022. So not only do I want you to sustain, but I want you to grow despite everything that's going on. And I would love to be the person that helps you through. What, let me see some other things here, but I'm sending you so much love and you know who you are and I'm here for you. Um, Okay, so one of the questions that I've gotten, I know that there are some of you on this call that are not coaches. I know that there are some people who are running virtual assistant agencies. I have a realtor that I've been talking with. And so, does this program still work for you? I would say absolutely. A lot of the people who are in this program are coaches because I was a coach. So, a lot of people that I think I've seen a lot of people who come through the program that are dietitians, that are wellness coaches, functional medicine practitioners. Currently, there are three. So, within your business, yes, I can absolutely help you. And if you want to hop on a consult or just message me, I can tell you the way that I can nuance things to make it even clearer about how it would help you. But I think the biggest thing, if you are not a life coach, you still need you need the exact same things. You need to understand how to have that strong messaging. Your social media is a billboard for people who want to buy with you. And I told you guys I'm getting married this year. I kind of like glazed over that, but I did not look at any of their websites. I didn't care. You can pay for a nice, pretty website. Anybody can. But I want to see if we're going to connect, particularly with my amazing wedding planner, Sean, who was on the last webinar. I don't know if she's here tonight, but man, I don't know what we would do without her. She has been so organized, so on top of it. And I knew that was the kind of energy I needed to help me grow. I think that for you, you need to have a strong presence on social media, especially as a service based business. People need to get to know your personality. That's the only thing. I think I looked it up and it was like, I'm going to give you the exact statistics because they were baffling. But when within this upcoming year, I think that the crazy thing about the creator industry, I want to see. It was like this is a multi-billion dollar industry. Billions of dollars are going into this. And here's why. With the invention of AI, there has been a huge shift. And who doesn't love a good AI situation? AI is great. We use it, but the thing that is going to set the average people from the people who excel are the people who know how to bring their personality out. And there are so many solopreneurs now. We're in the solopreneur revolution. I would love to help you to excel in this revolution. I genuinely don't think there's a better time for you to be a solopreneur. And I know that pretty much all of you, I've talked with you, you're passionate, you're excited, and I can help you bring that personality out, even if you're not a life coach. Especially if you are a coach, I got you. And if you're not a coach, I can help you with that as well. But you still need the messaging, you still need to make the ask, and you still need to close people. And those are very, very important things that I teach in the mastermind. So I bought courses and programs and never finished them. This is a huge thing. Okay, guys, I want to give a full disclosure. I have ADHD, shocking to none. And within ADHD, I found that I joined these programs and I do not finish them. I will go through and be like, a lot of times it's a lot of things that are on there. People will be saying, okay, we need to go through and figure out exactly how to like I have a very specific webinar format and I need you to look at that. And I will say, great, that sounds lovely. Can you give me a Spark Notes version of this? Okay. So for me, if you don't have time to watch the modules, don't worry about it, guys. I will literally go in and I will just be like, okay, here is a 5 second version of this. And then within 15 minutes, you'll have your content calendar ready. If you want to plan out a webinar with me, those take like 10 minutes and you're going to be able to do that as well. Okay. Oh, great. You are so sweet. Okay, Dr. Jemay, great to see you. I'm glad you're here. So within this mastermind, how does a monthly social media audit work? Is the feedback delivered to you like specifically, and then what can you ask for feedback on? So first and foremost, great news. Within the monthly social media audit, you can go through and you can post any like you can post within the mastermind any posts that you want me to look at. You can post any, like if you're like, hey, help me with my bio. Hey, help me with my branding. I know that you're a branding person, but I'm like, if you want some help with that, if you're like, hey, help me with a reel, I need help putting that together, I can help you with that. But on the social media audit, what I'm really looking for is the marketing strong? Are there clear calls to action? Is there relevancy and calls to action to book a consult call with you? Do we have the relevancy and urgency there? Are you talking about a specific time period that people are struggling in your niche? So within people who are seeking out branding, are you speaking to the problems? Like they're losing clients, they're losing money because they're not working with you. That's what we want to do. And that and the quarterly content calls going through, what I want to do is you can get any of the feedback in person, but the quarterly content calls for you, if you want to focus on content on the group calls, they're just private one-on-one calls. So you can talk to me about literally anything. If you need to talk to me about like, hey, this is something that I felt weird about and I want to get coached in the group, you can do that. You can always do that in the one-on-one feedback form, but I give that to you. That would be live. We would do those quarterly content calls for an hour every single quarter. So what we're going to do is we're going to send out a mass message in the first week of the month. So in October, you guys will all get a message for anyone that pays in full. Everyone's going to get a message that says, hey, book your quarterly content call, and you can use it in October, November, or December. They really are just timed out so that you can break it up. Or if you're like, hey, Megan, I want to do four, like I want to use all four of them at once. I want to get a VIP day. That works for you too. And that would be how it would be delivered as one-on-one. So the four quarterly calls, they can be combined to be a VIP day. You can do two-hour calls throughout the 12 months of the mastermind. You can do it every 3 months, like I suggest with the quarterly calls. But that is my bonus for you all that are investing and paying in full. I would love to help you with that. Now, is the monthly feedback is delivered via Loom, and it's going to be in the six-figure strategy document. I'll show you an example. I think I've got a blank version of the six-figure strategy document. Let me go in and I can see. But when, okay, yeah, I was like, here we go, six-figure strategy document. This is a new one, or it's like, it's one that we made a copy of for an old person. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. So this is what the six-figure strategy document looks like. And we'll go through and you have a financial tracker. It looks like a rainbow, and we go in and you say what your offer is, your timeline, and we go through all of this. And then every month I give you an audit. And then here is all the times that this person has gotten coached live or in the group. And every single piece of the coaching is here for them. So that is what the six-figure strategy document is. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for just a second so I can go back to the slides. But yeah, that is what we have here. And for you guys, I really do feel like that was the one thing that I wish I'd had more, because somebody easily could have caught that I wasn't doing enough calls to action. I wasn't talking about my offer enough. And it was like literally like a 2-second switch that has it saved me so much money. And I would love for you to do that too. Oh, Emily, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Same with you, Amy. Amy, it's great to see you. And Kay. Wow, okay, such a good crew. Sorry I missed saying hi to you guys at the start. Okay, so how does the scope of the mastermind fit or not fit for the offer being hybrid? Okay, great question. So if you do online and digital and you're not 100% online, if you have to do things in person, this is the perfect fit for you. I was actually just talking about another person. I was literally messaging them today because they are experiencing the same thing. They are going in person. It is, you know who you are. It's an educational program. And within that program that they are running, we are talking about ways that we could customize and figure out the way that this worked for them. And I can definitely make that work for you, Dr. DeMay, if you are interested. You know I've got you. Okay, let's see. If you've got any more questions, put it in here. I'm going to go back to the document. Okay, so Jay, I want to answer your coaching question here. Within your offer, so when we were talking, Jay, just for context, has an amazing empty nester coaching program. And when we were talking, he has a goal to bring in more people to get fully booked. But it was interesting because I was messaging him and he was saying that he was using a small paid webinar in order to bring people in. And I don't know why this happened. Like I know that that can be a suggestion a lot of times for people. For me, you might have seen me. And one of the things that I will do is I will be relentlessly transparent with you about every decision I make, why I'm making it, and I will tell you what ideas have are tested, tried, proven and true. You know, I'm all about making six figures statistically inevitable for you. But man, for me, I it has been a journey to learn. And what Jay, you were mentioning that you were doing is you're doing a low ticket webinar, like I think it's like 23, $27, and then trying to get people to join your one-on-one. That is a strategy. I will say I haven't figured that out yet. I haven't cracked that nut just yet. And I'm gonna learn how to do that. But I would suggest going back, and this goes for anybody. If you're seeing your mentor or a coach do something that you don't understand, please ask them why they're doing that because they might be testing things too. And so I'll tell you guys, I am testing that. Don't try that. Don't try it just yet. If I were you, I don't have a full system for it yet. But if you want my theories behind it, I can support you with it. However, Jay, you are insanely compelling. I know that you can work a crowd. If I were you, I would potentially focus, maybe start doing a free webinar. If you haven't seen the conversion come from that, it might be that second piece of the fully booked formula, that second piece about the ask. And I would suggest for you, I would maybe consider getting to know the people who are coming to your webinars. If you've had a good turnout, that's great. I want to know why they didn't convert. What were their objections? What were the things that they were worried about? What were they not thinking about that you could help them with? And we can totally go in and figure out, okay, they missed this objection. I need to put this in my marketing. For instance, I'm an empty nester. I'm retired. Do I have enough money in retirement to pay Jay? Because I haven't budgeted for a coach. I'm just budgeting to get through and live on my retirement savings. And so we want to create content around how to either budget or how to pay for, like I know that first of all, for anyone that is a coach, there is if they get any HSA health savings accounts, then they can actually put you on a health savings account. They can put you on a credit card if they have, like, but there are ways that people would pay you in that situation. If they are somebody who is an empty nester and is still employed, you can definitely tell them to ask their employer. But you've got to come up with like ways that it's like, even if people haven't been thinking about investing with you, why and what can you do to create, again, relevancy and urgency that working with you would be the best thing for them. And we can talk more about that too. But I hope that answered your question. And then Niha, in a similar way, I know you have a conflict tonight, but you were asking for your business, and I want to pull up your notes really quick. Make sure I ask this for you. So I think that, okay, so Niha, you've been doing webinars like this too. You've been doing presentations in corporate, and I know that can definitely be a lot. And you also, like Holly, had 50 people show up. By the way, for my first many webinars, I had zero people show up. I had my amazing mom and dad that were coming. And my aunt also is now like, they're excellent, excellent supporters. And what happened is I had developed that resilience, that failure tolerance. So if anyone is not getting consult or not getting people to sign up for their webinar, no biggie. But if you are getting people to sign up for your webinar and they're not converting, what I think is the issue is that big ask. It is the close. And it's interesting because you even mentioned you're like, saying you should hire me right now, I want you all, not just Niha, but everybody who is still on here, which is so many of you, which is so exciting. And I would love for you to make a list of how you and working with you is going to be a return on their investment. What are ways that you, going back to pillar number, or not pillar, part one of the fully booked formula, how is your messaging really, really strong that you are creating value, that you are showing people that you are going to help save or create time, money, and energy. Those are the big three. So I want you to start making lists about that. I want you to think about how is working with me one of the most important things that they want to do? How is this going to be the best use of their time? How, because think about it. Who wants to give away an extra hour of their week? Nobody's like super excited to take time that they would have been relaxing or with their family or doing something else to be on a call. You have to think about what they're getting in return and make sure that every single call with you is very poignant and it is focused. Now, for those of you who are thinking about getting bigger and you're like, okay, I want to start a group, I want to urge you to study your one-on-ones like crazy. For you, you want, and the benefit of doing that is you can raise your prices on your one-on-ones, you can have a set process, and that is going to help you to scale. That was something that Emily mentioned on our podcast. I It was at the very beginning of the year. She did it with Joy. So if you go back, and I put it in the Facebook group in today's live, but if you want to go back and listen to that, I'll tag you if you're having trouble finding it. But one of the things that we talked about was figuring out how to create, like she was like, okay, I need to scratch the itch. I want to start a group. Started a group a little sooner than we were like looking for. And then she came back to the mastermind and was like, hey, the group didn't work out, and doubled down on one-on-one. And that's the reason why she's like doubling this year, is literally because she took the coaching, did one-on-one, and now she's doing group and is soaring. So exciting times. And I hope that helps, Neha. Make the ask. Think about how your return on the investment. You guys, oh my gosh. Thank you for staying on so much longer. I told you guys, I was like, I'm going to stay as long as you guys have questions. So let me know if you've got more questions about what's in here. Try to think about if there's anything that I'm missing. The good news is, first and foremost, if I miss something, first, you guys have my number, you've got my information. There are three emails that you can send an email if you've got questions to. Support at meganwingcoaching.com. That's the email you're going to be getting the main emails from. You also can email info at meganwingcoaching.com. And that's the amazing Bridges email. So thank you for staying on, Bridge. And then you also can email meganwingcoaching at gmail.com. That's my personal email. And I'm giving that out to all of you guys. If you have questions, if you want to talk to me, I am happy to answer your questions. I want you to feel like this is the best fit for you. I know that making an investment is not a simple ask. I know it's $650 a month. I know I paid 800 a month making 40K as a teacher. I know that it isn't a huge ask, but it's an ask. And it's an investment of your time, of your money, of your energy. And I promise you, if you join the mastermind, I will go to work to make your business work for you. I care deeply about my clients. I genuinely feel like we are just such a strong, tight-knit community. And I think one of the things that makes this mastermind really different is I think the energy of our group is so solution oriented. It's so positive. It's so like, it just feels like my goal is that it feels like home for you guys. It feels like your home base. It's a year. I'm going to support you. My coaching style, if you don't know what it is, feel free to watch. 2 weeks ago, I showed a live coaching call. But the way I like to consider myself is like a warm demander. That's how I was as a teacher. So I'm going to love on you, and I'm also going to help you to reach your highest potential, because we do not want to waste your potential. We still have a quarter left of 2025. This is the last launch I'm doing in 2025 where people can enroll in 2025. and I want you to be a part of it. I know that there are things that people haven't even tapped into. I have so many ideas for people right now. I know that people are feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And I want to give you such a clear plan for things to do to feel good about what you're doing. And I am so excited to have those of you that are join us. It really does feel like, and I was thinking about it because my favorite song of all time is September. I even took my family to see Earth, Wind, and Fire twice. Just a huge Earth, Wind, and Fire fan. And within September being yesterday, I was thinking about it. And you know how like fun that song is? It's like, it's just like, it's great. And I feel like one of the things that's really important is surrounding yourself with positive people. Kristen, I get it. Like, it can feel like a wet blanket on your business if you're not surrounding yourself constantly with people that are there, that are loving, supporting you, moving through these struggles with you. And it's going to help normalize things for you. And it's also going to be like, and not just you, but like anyone that joins the mastermind, I want this to feel like a safe community, but also a very positive one. And so I was thinking about it in the way the song September is so positive. You can listen to songs like September, and you can also listen to songs that feel like a lower energy. And I'm not saying anything against anyone's program, but if you are listening to the music in your mind, your brain is designed to think negatively. Its whole goal is to keep you focused and keep you safe from danger. So its only job is to look at problems. And if you are listening to only yourself all day long, you are going to have a very negative soundtrack going on in your brain because the brain's designed to be negative. It takes 5 positive thoughts to replace every negative thought. So I just want you to keep that in mind and know that that is really important to break that cycle, to keep that confidence. Even when things might not be going exactly as you hope, you at least are surrounded by a community that normalizes the trials. And the last thing I'll say before we go is I think that for all of you, if you are looking to make an investment in your business that is worth your while and that is going to be something that supports you in both facets within the strategy and the mindset that you need to really succeed, I know that this mastermind is going to do that for you. I will literally give you a video every single week. Every single week that you're on this call, I will be talking to you one on one. And it's just me right now. So you're literally going to get me in your business. And I'm going to be responding in the stream. I'm going to make sure you're supported. I'm going to make sure you have what you need because I know that that's what's needed. I want this to feel like you have never had this much support in your business. And I know we can get you across the finish line. So if you have any other questions, oh, yes, also, Julie, we'll make sure I saw your message in there. No worries about the fits of the email. I cannot wait to have you in the group. But Bridge, if you could go ahead and add Julie to both of the groups, the communities and the learning portals, that would be fantastic. And for those of you that are thinking of joining, if anyone else has joined, please email me if you're having any issues. Also, Dr. DeMay, of course. And I cannot wait to see you in Scaling Systems so soon.